welcome to FAFO Kitchen. Today we're going to be making really fluffy scrambled eggs with just some mayonnaise and some eggs and some other stuff. But let's go through the ingredient list of things you'll need. 1, an egg. 2, some mayonnaise. Now the mayonnaise choice, you can use store brand or Hellmann's. It probably doesn't make that much of a difference, but there is some things where they make mayonnaise with olive oil, which may be more heart healthy, but mayonnaise. And you're going to need some salt. Now, I like some sea salt. And you're going to need, and some of this is optional, some shallots. Now, I'm not so sure if those are shallots, but there's a picture in the corner, and you can decide for yourself. It's either a shallot or a small red onion. And then we have some chives, and then we have some garlic. Now, we're going to put a little bit of these into the thing. We're going to save these to the last, because we're not going to add them in until we're almost done cooking, to give this some color. So let's go forward, and we're going to take our egg and we're going to put it in the bowl, and then we're going to add our mayonnaise. Now you want to have, I don't know, can you even see that? A certain amount to make it smooth and creamy, maybe a little bit more. That looks good. So you want to put in enough to make it creamy, but not enough to make it like really, thin or drizzly or something like that. And now we're going to have my lovely assistant beat the egg until it's smooth. Okay, so we're going to put some salt in these eggs before we mix them up, because I learned on YouTube that if you salt the egg before you put it in the pan, the salt will basically dissolve into the egg and suck up some of the water, so you don't get that sort of watery scrambled egg that you do with, if you don't put the salt in before, or sometimes if you don't put enough of this or that. But we're going to put the salt in. Now, don't put too much salt in, because it'll be too salty. But there we are. And now my lovely assistant will beat these eggs into a lather. And while my lovely assistant beats the egg to a lather, we're going to preheat our pan. Now, you're going to need some butter, which I did not include in the ingredients list, and I'm sorry, to put in the bottom of the pan. Okay, so the next thing we needed to do was to beat our shallot and our garlic into the egg. So now that the pan is heated up and the egg is beaten, we're going to put it into the pan. So now that our eggs are beaten, we're going to preheat our pan, and you can do this while you're beating your eggs. You're going to put a pat of butter in there, and you're going to go with like a low to medium heat, enough to melt the butter, but not enough to get it boiling or get it like burning, because you don't want the brown in there. So this is going to be a nice sort of buttery layer on the bottom, and we can pour our eggs in. Now if you look, these eggs are fairly fluffy and fairly thick, so we're going to pour them into the pan, swish it around a little bit, and put it on the burner. Okay, so you're going to want to work this the whole time, because if you don't, it may like start to brown on one side, or it may start to burn. Now you can see nice curds are starting to form. So we got to move this around. And yeah, that's coming up nice there, isn't it? Yeah. And I mean, you can like bust it up into smaller curds if you like, or you can bust it up into bigger curds. It all depends on your preference. Now, I don't like small curds. I like bigger curds, and actually I like having like to just be able to break it off with a fork. So I like it in one big piece, sort of. But, you know, everybody has their preference. But after you're done, you want to flip that around. Now, you want to take your chives now, and you want to put them on there for a little color. And you want to flip it around a little bit. Maybe that'll cook in there, and you can get that folded in. And now those are really big curds, but you can see how fluffy this curd is. If you look, just how high and puffy and stuff it is. So then we're going to plate it. And we're going to move our chives over for a little bit more of a better presentation. And there you have it, fluffy scrambled eggs using mayonnaise. Who would have thought? And now the final test. How does it taste? Okay. Definitely tastes creamy. And it's very light. Sort of like melts in your mouth almost. And the shallots, you know, you can taste a little bit of the shallot and some of the garlic. But it's delicious. You'll have to try it yourself because I can't give you a taste over the video. So try it out. Put it in the comments. Let me know how it works out. And we'll see you in the next FAFO kitchen.